go wrong, eh?
The boys took us over to Kangra Ramp. Footage will probably tell the story, but this is the one that, I don't know if they've been teasing me about it, but I was salivating over it, wondering if we'd do it earlier in the day. At the start of Kangra Ramp, which I wouldn't have really identified as a track because it's really just a creek, Lucas does a hard 90, I'd say it's even more than 90 degrees up the creek.
Battle axe again, cruised on through, and there was Michael behind me in the NP300 Navara.
We're following him, so down we go, into the creek. A couple of bites to get round that corner to get it to line it up.
To look at clock. Yeah, 90 degrees into the creek, dropping in at the same time.
But then we made our way up this beautiful creek bed, rock hopping all the way, some serious lean angles. I really enjoyed it.
We were turning right into Kangra Ramp. Michael was in front at this stage there, so couldn't actually quite see what we were going to be in for because his vehicle was in the way, and fortunately he went first, so I learnt a lot about that, where he actually picked to go through.
Yeah, left hand down, we're going to get to the high side. Keep going left hand down. No, rip or left, keep going. Now as the right comes up, we'll turn right in. It's not quite that hard though.
Yeah, look, once we turned around, we actually started to head into the creek. I actually felt a hell of a lot more confident. It wasn't overly challenging, but in saying that, you know, you certainly wouldn't want to be playing around and not paying particular attention to where your wheel placement is. There was a few little steps in it. Certainly wasn't overly deep, but yeah, there's certainly a few little steps in it. But my confidence was up, and I think I did all right for it, you know. I think it was quite good.
Yell out if you want a hand back there. It's a bit tricky through here, Simon. Nice and gentle. Watch that rear quarter panel. Just gentle as we drop off. Big rock on the front here, so right hand. Hang on, let me jump out.
Yeah, okay, happy to sit away.
So Kangra Ramp really did test what these cars can do. IFS, Nissan Navaras, I was blown away what it can do, but we were really stretched on the height clearance that we had on these going through one portion of that, to the point where I bottomed out.
On this rock here, so just, I'm going to back up nice and gentle. On that angle, straight back.
The boys got him to reverse back. Simon was chucking a heap of boulders in there to be able to lift up the wheel there so it doesn't actually drop right in.
That's good, keep going back, keep going back.
We've got a situation where there are some holes that are a little bit too deep for these IFS vehicles. Tyres aren't quite tall enough. We've got a sharp rock on the right hand side, a big rock on the left hand side, and a big hollow where the creek is flowing over this rock shelf. The low side, we've piled that up with a few rocks to try and lift the driver's side of the vehicle up, level it out a bit more, and give us a bit more clearance over the peak of the dome of the rock face there. So hopefully we've got enough rocks in there. Keep him up, keep his panels off that rock, make sure he doesn't run into this rock on the passenger side, and make sure he's got clearance through the centre over that hump in the middle there. A little bit off camber, but at least it's not raining. Not yet. It's not too slippery. We should have some traction. We should get him through here just.
All right, Michael, nice and gentle. Let's start crawling forward.
Simon Christie, God bless him, guided me through that. A little bit of track building involved, some rocks in some holes, just to get us that clearance to get through the obstacle.
It was still a challenging drive, you know, there was a bit of sliding on the rocks and not much traction because it was all wet, but managed to get the NP300 through there with Simon's guidance.
Gentle, nice and gentle, you're at low range.
Roger.
Mile out a little bit. Yep, straighten up, that's good. Keep going on that.
We came through with no body damage and completely unscathed. So after I made it through that obstacle, scraping a couple of times, Simon Berman was up next from Direction Plus in his nav, which doesn't have any bar work on it. A little bit more track building before he came through the obstacles.
The IFS vehicles don't have much clearance. That's a good indicator that we need to keep the next vehicle clear of that section. And the rocks down here have moved just a little bit, so we'll rearrange these. That's one car through, not too bad. Fingers crossed for the next one.
Again, he was guided through expertly by Simon Christie. And he managed to clear it with a couple of tiny scrapes. Sorry, Jake, but you know, we tried to look after the cars.
And that was easy for me. That was very simple for me. I just basically followed the same path. Luckily, Simon had put the rocks in there and it kept the vehicles certainly a lot better stabilised. I was certainly nervous about it, but with all the guys that were with us, you know, they're all very, very competent four-wheel drivers, and I was pretty confident in their guidance. And once I started moving, everything was fine. Not a problem. Yeah, just drove straight through and away we went. Once we got through that section, we actually had to drop down, and it was a reasonably steep little drop. I sort of thought I might have had my wheels in the right placement, but unfortunately at the back it just dropped a little bit and she hit. And then by the time we got out, looked at the back of the car, no damage to the vehicle, except there was a little bit of a metal, looked like a rivet that had come out of the car. So we had a good inspection of the vehicle, no damage whatsoever, and away we went again.
Wheel change is hanging, but that's...
Yeah, it looks like a rivet. The guys were pumped. They couldn't believe that they'd just taken those vehicles through there, which was awesome to see.
Having made it past the obstacle, Simon and Michael were on a high. But there was still one more person in the convoy to come, and he was planning on doing things a little bit differently. We've had this much trouble so far on Kangra Ramp, and we're not even halfway through the track. With the infamous Beer O'Clock Hill just around the corner, we are in for a real treat before this day is done.
So once we got over that little bit of a difficult section there, the rest of it was pretty straightforward. A little bit of rocking and rolling on the sides there, but fairly straightforward. We were able to make up a little bit of time there, and we certainly scooted along the ramp itself there. Also, I think driving up Kangra Ramp was quite fun as well. I hadn't actually done that type of fall driving before, driving up a riverbed, but it was certainly special. Certainly a special place to come to as well.
I reckon that tree gets knocked every now and then.
Yes, you can see it.
So after we cleared the rocks, it was time to finish off Kangra Ramp. The terrain changed a little bit from that boulder hopping, really technical, trying to get through obstacles, to just a deep culvert that was a bit muddy. I think the walls of the creek were about head height sitting in the car, and just really different terrain. It was great to drive. It was a real privilege to have Simon as a passenger for the day. I learned a lot. He gave me a few tips on the way through. Love to go out with him again. He's a great passenger, very calm, and kept the chat up all day. That was good value.
It wasn't a backseat driving or passenger driving?
Absolutely not. He was very encouraging and just got out, and a bit of guidance where required, and I was thankful for it.
Once we come out of Kangaroo Ramp there, we were able to turn left, and then we started to climb up the hill, and fairly straightforward, no issues until you got to the top. And if you're a little bit too close to the right-hand side of the track, there was quite a good washout there, and unfortunately I was too busy having a chat with old mate next to me and wasn't paying that much of attention, so the wheel went into it. No damage, the wheel just come right up off the ground and then continually motored up over it, and then the back of the vehicle obviously lifted up as well.
There was a big wombat hole on the inside right, and a tree that was right there. If we made some mistakes, we could have done some panel damage, but climbed out without any problem.
And then we turned right, we're back onto Main Street and away we were going again.
So after that climb, we transited back to main camp where we gathered again just to finalise the day. That's where Birraclock Hill's located here at the Springs 4x4. I've seen it on YouTube, it's got plenty of coverage and goodness me, it is steep. I believe 47 degrees at the pinch point where the rocks are, and the camera flattens it out, so you don't get the appreciation until you stand here, and scary is the word that comes to mind. That is steep.
What do you reckon? Do you ever try that?
Not me.
I always thought it was a bit of a funny sort of a name, but now I understand why. At 4 o'clock, beers are on, people try to get up it.
What do you know? Tyler's put his hand up to drive Birraclock Hill in the rain, which, man, that is some scary stuff.
But the proof was in the pudding. Tyler jumped in his car, they pulled the sign back, and he stood there and up he went. Very committed drive, he's very skillful, and his control over the loud pedal, just when it starts rocking on those rocks, he found the traction and up he went. Not only did he do it once, he did it 3 times.
First time, easily done. I thought, oh, that's not too bad. Went for a bit of a wander up there myself, realised how steep it was, and I thought, I am not attempting this. We all walk back down, he pops around again, runs Zelini up the hill. She's a bit of a thrill seeker, so she wanted to go up. Takes her up, comes back around, and by that stage he started to loosen a fair bit of the dirt. Then it was getting a little bit slippery. Fortunately, the cameraman was still at the top, and he thought, I'll go and pick him up, save him from walking down. Well, he had a little bit of a trouble this time getting up. He got about 3/4 of the way up, wheel started to spin, got a little bit cross-threaded, I suppose, on the track there, and couldn't go anywhere, had to reverse down a little bit, and we thought, he's going to come all the way down to the bottom and then start again. But no, in true Tyler fashion, he reckons he could get it up where he was. The guy's halfway up this hill, drops the clutch, away he goes, straight up to the top, picks up the cameraman, and he's back down there. It was really impressive to watch.
After Tyler had done his shenanigans up and down Birraclock Hill, we all just gathered around and had a chat about the experiences and the excitements of the day, which was next level. And we were just bouncing ideas of how we can make the following day even better. There's some pretty good ideas and some pretty good track names getting thrown around, including the skids. So we'll see what tomorrow brings, and we're all pumped and looking forward to it. So day 2, here we are, the Springs 4 Drive Park.
So we woke this morning to saturating rain. The thunder shook the building last night. I cannot tell you the storm that came through here. Pretty daunting this morning.
We're here in the heart of the Springs 4x4 Park at Main Campground. You've got fantastic toilets and showers over there. You've got this beautiful creek flowing, and you've got the main attraction, Birraclock Hill, which you guys had a bit of a look at yesterday. Loved it?
Scary. A few butterflies in the stomach as we come out here today, not knowing what the tracks are going to be like.
Now we've got the park owner Lucas here. Now Lucas, I want rocks, a waterfall, I want some action. What have you got lined up for us this morning?
Mate, I think he's going to be blown away. We've got a track called Skids. In the dry, it's something, but in the wet, mate, we've got rock steps, we've got rock shells, we've got small waterfalls to climb up, red hills. Wait till we get in here, and you're going to really test out the skill of these Direction Plus Navaras. I don't know if I'll send you guys first, because you might have to pull my truck out.
Are you talking skids? Are you talking the tyres on the vehicles? Or the lads' underpants?
Oh, I think a bit of both.
All right, boys, into the cars, let's go.
Let's do it.
Hit some tracks.
So the Pink Lady leads the way, which is a GU chassis 75 series cab, ex-comp truck that's just an absolute weapon.
They pulled out the Pink Lady. What are we in for?
The Pink Lady is the mascot of the park, turns heads, everyone wants to check her out and check out underneath the bonnet. It's a really good get-together to talk about what's done and what's going to happen with it.
Come on, Lucas, you nervous?
Oh, sorry mate, you ready to go, are you?
Let's roll. And Michael, have the skids already started for you?
Well, I get a chance to watch you first.
Yeah, we're going up first so we can recover you.
Yeah, great, love it, let's do it.
And Michael, we definitely don't want to be behind you when the skids are happening.
Who's been telling stories again?
I've driven past the skids so many times and I've looked at it and gone, that would be awesome to drive. And then, all the rain last night, even better.
It's going to be awesomer.
We turned left up this creek, which didn't look like a track, only there was a couple of wheel ruts that you could see on both sides of the creek.
Drop on this side as well.
Wheel on that side of it, or?
No, you're right. Just turn him hard. And Michael, see if you can do that without making it look so bad. No, he's not. He's already made it worse.
We got some serious lean angles just driving flat ground, but lean angles because we were sitting up on these ruts.
How cool is this?
Mate, this is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Michael, I'm so sorry to drag you out of the office to do this on a weekday.
Simon, I'm saving your number on speed dial. You can bring me out here any day.
How's your passenger going?
Surviving.
Surviving.
How would you describe this track?
Like a nice stroll up a very rocky, rutty, angled creek bed and loving every minute of it.
Those catch cans and diesel filters must be working overtime.
Yep, but that's why we put them on here.
Holy smokes, guys. Hope you've brought a change of underwear. Here we are at this waterfall. Don't know how we're going to go.
Started motoring up the riverbed and I sort of thought, oh, this isn't too bad, until I looked up and I saw rock face. And to make it worse, there was water flowing over it. It was an actual waterfall that was coming over these rocks. And I thought, there's no way, no, I'm going up that. Not a hope.
It belted down last night, the water's gushing, and they're telling me we're going up there. I couldn't believe it.
There's definitely a few different lines through here. I think we're going to hug the right-hand side, bring the vehicles up, across, then that big step up there will go wide around, up over the next few steps. This is going to be epic.
The boys are trying to work out a good way to get up it, but I'm just steering the car. Lucas is up the front, he's going to pre-do it. I've got Simon sitting next to me. What could go wrong, eh?
Come on, Lucas, get into it.
Let's rock and roll. When we got to the waterfall step section on the skids, which it's got some serious step ups and not much traction, the Navaras were a bit nervous after watching the pink lady pick the hard line.
But someone saying that thing had lockers?
Yeah, don't turn them on, mate. We need a challenge sometimes. How good's that?
The pink lady made it look fairly easy, but still challenging.
Lucas went up first and I had a bit of a laugh. There's still no way known that I'm going to be able to do this.
Simon was in the Direction Plus NP300. No bar work on it. Neither of us think our cars are getting up there. Conditions aren't right, vehicles, we just didn't think they were capable.
Keep coming on that. Keep turning. Keep turning. Yep. Keep coming on that.
With Simon's guidance, wheel placement for climbing up there.
Turn hard, turn hard, turn hard. Turn hard, turn hard, turn hard.
He spun, but I've got to tell you, I'm amazed that he was directed on a different line to the comp truck and it went up.
Once I got over, I looked down and thought, oh, there's a fair few rocks here. I need to start dodging some of these.
Now let's turn. Up. Up. Yep.
As I'm going through it, I could hear the water heading up against the tyres, and I'm looking down in the rear mirror then, I'm seeing it going over the side of the car and onto the rocks below, and I thought, geez, I just cannot believe that I did that.
Beautiful. No worries. Whoa! Yeah! That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't want to be doing it in a lot lower clearance vehicle because there's no way now you'd be getting through. Amazing experience.
All right, skids 11, bring it on up.
Skids 11, here we go.
I'm in the hands of Simon Christie as our spotter. He's on the radio.
Might try the other side just to see what the grip's like, so keep coming, keep coming.
I edge up to the front of this rock wall, water gushing down it. and he points me to the right, which is not the way that Simon went. He pulled Simon up the left where there was less water and it wasn't the line the comp truck did.
Keep it going, keep it going.
Bonus line for the nav. You!
To his absolute credit, he knew the car would get up there. I followed his directions. Our throttle controller dialed in, gave me enough control over our throttle pedal that we didn't lose traction and drove up.
You! The springs.
Awesome. You made that look easy.
Now tell me, being here on your own and looking at that, would you even have a crack?
No, I would have backed her up and gone back around. Safety's a better valor in that situation. Under your expert tutelage, lines, the grip was there, you know, you just put us in the right spot.
Having a navigator helps a heap.
Absolutely.
Awesome drive, well done.
What a buzz.
Well
Thanks,
done.
Simon.
What's next?
Join us next week when the adventure continues as we take it to a whole new level with one hell of a slippery hill climb. A head-to-head test with the throttle controllers with side-by-side hill drags. And we reach the peak of the park with its highest lookout, Bald Knob. All that and plenty more next week on Simon Christie's 4Drive Pro Tips.
Oh man, I can't wait to see it.